Now joined by Stars head coach Rick Bowness. We'll take the first question from Sean Shapiro, The Athletic.
Hey, Rick, I'll get us out of the way early with the list for Sekera, Dickinson, Hintz, Como, Foxa, Bishop, Johns. What can you tell us?
Okay. At this point, 5 of those guys are still unable or unfit to play. Andre Sekera, he will be a game time decision.
And Sean, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I was going to just ask now that how do you use today? Obviously, it's the back-to-back, and do you let the guys take time to themselves? Is there a meeting? How do you use today after before the next game?
We've left them alone all day. Since we got here, we've had meetings the night before the game, and we will do that again tonight. We've actually bumped it back an hour earlier, so maybe they can get to bed a little earlier. So that we're not going to change that routine. I think the guys, you need just a little. In some of these meetings, there's not video. Some of them there are. Some of them specialty teams. It all depends on the situation. So like tonight, we'll probably just have a little talk with them and get them refocused for tomorrow. Listen, both teams have the same schedule. We've talked about that. Both teams are tired. Both teams are banged up. And we'll just talk about a couple of things and go right back at it tomorrow.
Matt DeFrank, Dallas Morning News.
Hey, Rick, just to clarify, the 5 guys that are still unfit were the same 5 guys that missed last night's game?
Yes.
Owen Newkirk, Dallas Stars Radio.
Hey, Bones, this is a bit of a side note question. You guys have spent a lot of time talking, and you specifically emphasizing how close this team's bond has become throughout this bubble experience. But I heard some other coaches from other teams talk about what it's done for their coaching staffs. I was just wondering if that same sort of situation has brought your staff closer together, because you guys have been working very closely for months now together.
We haven't gotten away from each other for 9 weeks plus training camp. Fortunately, we have a great crew here, and we've gotten along since the beginning of the year. But as you know, we discuss everything as a staff, and we have these meetings, and everyone voices their opinion. And we walk out of those meetings all on the same page. It's a great group to work with. I'm fortunate that way. And so we haven't had any fist fights yet, so that's a good thing. No, I'm just kidding. It's a really good group to work with, and we all have the same philosophy, same approach, and it's been a great group to work with. So there's been no issues. We've been a tight group. This probably has made us a lot tighter because, again, you're with each other every day, every dinner, and again, we're lucky that it's such a good group and cohesive.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Rick, I just want to ask you about Sekera. How big was that needle he put into his leg there after going back to the dressing room and then suddenly appearing in the third period? And you got a little tough there when you were playing the 3 defensemen for a long, long time?
Yeah, listen, he's a tough competitor. And don't forget, he's probably left his family sometime around June 24th or something. He hasn't seen his little boy Marco and his wife Katerina since. So he's made a ton of sacrifices to get here. He came here with one goal in mind, and that was to win the Stanley Cup. So not surprised at all to see him come back. He's such a great team guy, such a great competitor. And so we certainly missed him in that second period because it was tough on our defense, but give those guys credit because they managed their minutes well. John Stevens did a great job managing their minutes. And but again, not surprised with Andre. He's, again, great teammate, and he was not, if he could play, he was going to come back and play. He needed a little time to settle things down a little bit. He did that, and he came back, and he plays with so much heart, and he's a great inspiration for our players, and he gave our players a boost when he came back and they saw him on the bench.
Greg Wyshynski, ESPN.
Thanks a lot. Hey, Rick, obviously one minor penalty in Game 5 was a real key for you guys. How do you get them to repeat that performance in Game 6?
I thought the officials did a great job last night letting both teams play. They took 2, we took 1. So if we can just keep our feet moving and keep our sticks on the ice, then you find yourself taking a lot less penalties. And keeping the shift short, especially when you get tired and you have back-to-back games. So our players manage that much better. And I think the officials did a really good job of letting them play and not getting in the way of an incredible hockey game. They did their job. They called what was completely obvious. Our penalty to Tyler got to stick up, and that was clearly a penalty. So give the officials some credit and give the players some credit and just letting them play. And again, it was a great hockey game.
Rob Tychkowski, Post Media.
Coach, I mean, other than the obvious, keeping you alive in the series, what does winning Game 5 do for your locker room? Does it strengthen the belief and the confidence? Is there a boost that you can carry over into Game 6? Yes,
yeah, we've been a team that's come back all year long. In third periods down in the playoffs, we've done the same thing. So we didn't look at, okay, we're down 3-1. We looked at it, we can win this game, and we kept the focus on all the details that we have to do better than the games that we lost, and when we did them last night. So when you get in those situations, you can't worry about facing elimination. You have to worry about taking care of the process of winning that game, and we will do the same thing tomorrow. Again, whether it's 2-2, you're up 3-1, you still have to go win the hockey game, and we kept the focus on that. This was to take care of the process, take care of the details that give us the best chance to win. And the guys, they certainly did that. So we'll take the same approach tomorrow. We know we lose or out, it's over, they get the cup. But again, we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on how we have to play to win that hockey game.
Arpon Basu, The Athletic.
Hello, Rick. It was obvious last night, but you look at Perry and Pavelski as two acquisitions, and you look at the way they scored their goals, and really they're two of the best net front players of their generation. How much more important is that skill in the playoffs than it would be in the regular season? It's aside from the obvious of these two guys scoring those two big goals last night.
It just gets harder to score goals. In the first couple of games, we were not doing a very good job of getting to the net. They were doing a great job boxing us out and keeping us away. So we put a lot of focus the last couple of games on that, winning that like we did against Vegas. You have to try to win those net front battles. And when you get in there, you've got to know where to put the puck and the patience to put it. And you saw Pav's goal, top shelf, and Corey, top shelf, and knowing where to put it. So it's one thing to get in there. It's another thing to do something with the puck when you get the opportunity. And both those guys with the poise and the experience that they have, they put the puck in the right spot, and give them credit for that. But that's where they've made their career. That's why they're still playing. That's why they're here. But again, you're going to score greasy goals in the playoffs. There's no easy goals, and they got to get in there, and you got to take some beating sometime to get in there. But you got to pay the price, and then they're two of the best at it.
Tom Galiti, NHL.com.
Hi, Rick. There was a lot of talk earlier in the series about your top forwards maybe not producing. So now that they have started the last two games, what does that do for maybe the outlook of the team and overall, looking at trying to come back in the series and maybe the confidence of the rest of the team, just seeing some of those guys starting to pick up their games?
Well, again, we're here by committee. That's why we're still playing. We haven't put the focus on one or two guys. We put the focus on the team. So when they weren't scoring, some of the other guys still stepped up and made the difference in games, made the difference in series. And that's how you get to the Stanley Cup Finals. You can't rely on one or two guys. And we didn't. So, but we do rely on 20 guys doing all the necessary things to help us win games, whether they're not scoring or not. So it's nice that these guys are getting the ball now and they're making the best of it. But again, we're here because of the team play and the committee and everyone jumping in and helping and stepping up at different times. So now it's the last couple of games has been the veterans, and who knows who's going to show up and make the difference tomorrow. But it's kind of the approach we want to take with all our players. We tell them, whose turn is it tonight? Who's stepping up tonight? Let's be a difference maker out there.
Mike McIntyre, Winnipeg Free Press.
Hi, Rick. We've talked a lot, obviously, about what Corey Perry, Joe Pavelski did on the ice last night, but I wonder, from your perspective, did they also play a role in just getting your team ready for that game after the way you guys lost Game 4? Obviously, with a penalty and in overtime, like that could have a real tough impact on a team. I know the turnaround was really quick. Do you feel like those veteran guys maybe got the mindset right for resetting the very next night?
Absolutely. All our veterans did a great job. They're the voices of the coaches. We come in, we talk, and we say, this is, we put this behind us, this is what we're focused on. Then when we leave the room, it's their room. And we're counting on Jamie and Tyler and Klinger and all the veterans, and Joe and Corey, Andre. They're like, all the veterans have to speak up, and all the veterans have to reinforce what the coaches are talking about. And when we walk out and they close the doors, that's what you're counting on. And we've had great leadership all year, and we're going to continue to get great leadership. But again, that's from our perspective, from a coach's perspective, you need that in your room. And again, it's their room, and we're not in there all the time. And so when we're not there, there are our voices, and we've got a great rapport with our leadership. Communication with them is absolutely huge, and you build that during the season. And when you get to these situations in the finals and the playoffs, you're counting on that leadership to take over the room, and they've all done a great job.
Mike Heika, DallasStars.com.
Hey, Rick, your role players don't seem overwhelmed at all. They seem to be fitting right in and taking to the role. Is there anything you guys did to prepare them, whether that's assistant coaches or teammates, to get them to a place where they fit right in?
Well, we just listen. We're a family. We work together, and the coaches have done. As mentioned many times, our coaches have done a great job with the Aces, keeping them physically fit, keeping them mentally fit, and when they play, we they know their role, and that's all part of being a good teammate. And again, for 9 weeks, you're sitting there going, the guys are working out every day, a lot of the time on their own, not knowing if they're going to play, if they're going to get in the lineup, if they're going to get an opportunity. But so give the players a tremendous amount of credit for hanging in there and working hard every day. No complaints. Happy to be here. It's a great learning experience for our younger players like Robinson and Harley. You haven't seen them, but they're learning every day just watching our guys. So it's important when those role players step in, the Aces step in, physically they're ready to go. Mentally, you put them in the right frame of mind, and okay, this is what we need from you tonight, and you let them play. And that's what we've done. And again, I give the players a tremendous amount of credit, and the assistant coaches for keeping everyone in the right frame of mind and physically ready to go.
Neil McHale.
Hey, Rick. When you look at guys in your team like the Kivirantas, the Nick Camanos, even we were talking to Jason Dowling before, or Justin Dowling, sorry. When you look at those groups, what does that speak about the veteran core that you have here and some of the leadership group on here, that those players are able to come in, especially obviously because of injuries, they'll be able to come in and have a role seamlessly for you guys?
But what you guys don't see is when we have a team dinner, we have team meetings, or they're playing cards or whatever, the young guys are always with the older players. It's not like the young guys are sitting over here by themselves and the rest of our team is over here. Our veterans have done a great job of making sure the young guys, the Aces, are included in everything we do. So again, that goes back to good leadership in the room. When you see them at dinner, it's not just the young guys by themselves. They're with a veteran from the team. We had dinners earlier in the year, early in the playoffs. July. Anyways, we had a couple of team dinners, and we made sure that the young guys were sitting with the veterans. That's a long time ago. Anyways, so we make sure those things happen, and the players have been great for that. So again, the Aces are always included with the older players, and they've always felt part of the team, which is hugely important when you have a family like we have right here.
We'll take a couple more for Coach Matt DeFranks, Dallas Morning News.
Hey, Rick, what does John's ability to get pucks through from the blue line do for your ability to generate offense?
Well, you look at Sergachev's goal last night, gets it, snaps it. You got to get we've talked enough about it. You've got to get your D involved. You can say that, but now it's up to the D to get the puck down around the net. You can't always control the shot being blocked down by the net, but your job is to make sure you get it by the high forward coming out at you. Tampa's done a really good job pressuring our D at the offensive blue line, and now you've got to have mobility, you've got to have your eyes up, and you've got to have the ability to get that puck down by the net. And you hope it gets through, but some, you know, a lot of times there's so many bodies down there, there's a lot of blocks, shots. If it gets through, like Sergeyev's goal did last night, it just finds its way through everything. But John has very good ability to have the mobility to move away from the defender, have his eyes up, and release the puck at the right time, so it has a much better chance of getting down to the net. Nothing more frustrating for a forward. We're yelling at the forward, get into the net, get to the net, get to the net, and there's no pucks coming. So that frustrates the forward. So we put a lot of pressure on our defense. If we're going to tell our forwards to get there and take a beating, you've got to make sure the puck is there. And John is very good at doing that.
And the last question, Sean Shapiro, The Athletic.
Hey, Rick. You can actually probably speak to this for both Tampa and Dallas almost with your experience. When a guy, we talk all the time about playoff experience for guys in the NHL, but when you see a young guy have a long playoff experience in the minor leagues or in junior or something like that, do you notice a confidence factor or anything when they do come up to the NHL the following season, anything like that?
It certainly helps. You've got that core group in Tampa. They won an American Hockey League championship together. We went to the finals in 2015. They've been to 3 conference finals. So all those things help. So when you get to these situations now, you're not nearly as intimidated. You're far more confident, far more comfortable playing in these scenarios. We've got some young guys who've never been here before, and they're learning as we go along. The core group that has been there, they're not intimidated by this. You need all the experience you can get playing in the American League finals, playing in the American League for a cup, getting to the conference finals. It helps your growth, it helps your experience, and it helps your ability to cope with the situation, deal with the situation when you get this far.
Thanks, Coach.